Hi icons, good day. I'm Melody Pearl Osorio, your General Mathematics teacher. So last time, diniscuss na natin yung inverse of a function. So now, let's continue. So what is solve involving inverse function? So we have a definition. Definition of solve involving inverse function. In mathematics, if f is a function from a to b, then an inverse function for f is a function in the opposite direction from b to a with the property that around will trip composition from A to B or from B to A to B. Returns element if the initial set to itself. Thus, if there is an input x into the function f produces an output y into the inverse function f raised to -1 produces the output x. Not every function has an inverse. Those that do are called invertible. Now, so we have a simple examples. So for example, class, let f be the function that converts a temperature in degrees Celsius to a temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. Then its inverse function converts degrees Fahrenheit to degrees Celsius. So dito class, so sa let f natin, yung temperature ay yung temperature ng degrees Celsius ay i-convert po natin sa temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. So, kung i-inverse naman po natin siya, pagbabalik na rin lang po natin. So, ang convert naman po ng degrees Fahrenheit ay yung degrees ng Celsius. Or suppose F assigns each child in a family of 3 the year of its birth. An inverse function would tell us which child was born in a given year. However, if the family has twins or triplets, then we cannot know which to name for their common birth year. Likewise, if we are given a year in which no child was born, then we cannot name a child. But if each child was born, then we do have an inverse function. So that's my example. So next, use inverse function to find radius of right circular cone. 5 right circular cones which the same height, which is h equal 50 centimeters, are to be constructed. The volumes of these cones are to be 200, 400, 800, 1,600, and 3,200 centimeters raised to 3. Find the radius of the base of each cone. So we have here a simple solution to find the process and the answer of this question. Solution, the formula of volume B of a right circular cone which height h and radius r is given by V is equal to 1 over 3 radius squared and height. Since we need to find the radius, we need to solve the above the equation for r to obtain r equal square root of 3 volume over pi h. What we have done above is to find the inverse function of b. We do not need to interchange the variable v, r, V and R because they have different meaning in this problem. We now calculate the radius for each cone using the formula for the radius above. So, let's answer class. So, meron po tayong volume. So, meron tayong 5 volume na nandito. So, which is yung 200, 400, 800, 1,600, and yung 3,200. So, ang hinahanap po natin dyan is yung radius. Next, using our formula. So, let's solve. So, meron tayong simple process here kung paano po ba natin isosolve itong problem na ito. So, ang ating formula ay R equal square root of 3 volume over 5H. So, yan po yung class. V is equal to 200, R equals to square root of 3 times 200 over 50 pi is equal to 1.95 centimeters. So, ma'am, paano po ba nangyari at paano po ba naging ganyan yung sagot? So, ganito po yan, class. 3 times 200, ang sagot po ay 600. Then, yung value po ng ating pi, using calculator or using scientific calculator, it is 3.14. Next, yung 50, tinimes po natin sa 3.14. So, ma'am, saan po ba nakuha yung 50? Nakuha po natin yung 50 dun sa ating problem na value ng height na 50 centimeters. So, now, 50 times 3.14, ang sagot po ay 157. So, now, 600 divide 157 is equal to 3.82. So, kapag in-square root po natin, si 3.82, ang sagot po ay 1.95 centimeters. So, that's the answer in radius. Another, volume equal to 400. So, let's use formula. Radius equal to square root of 3 times 400 over 50 pi equal to 2.76 centimeters. So, how to solve this? So, 3 times 400, then yung ating pi pa rin po ay 3.14, hindi po siya nabagbago. 50 times 3.14, so 157 pa rin po yan. Then, kung ano po yung magiging sagot natin sa numerator and the denominator, paki-divide lang po. So, ang answer natin dito sa ating 400 para sa radius ay 2.76 cm. Next, volume. Equal 800. Radius square root of 3 times 800 over 50 times 3.14 is equal to 3.91 centimeter. Another, volume equal 1,600. Radius is equal to square root 3 times 1,600 over 50 times 3.14 is equal to 5.53 centimeter. Volume equal 3,200. Radius is equal to square root 3 times 3,200 over 50 times 3.14 is equal to 7.82 centimeter. So now, we have 5 value or answer for radius. So first answer is 1.95 centimeters. Second, 2.76 centimeter. Next, 3.91 centimeter, 5.53 centimeter, and 7.82 centimeter using our volume. Okay, next. Next example, when calibrating a spring scale, you need to know how far the spring stretches based given weights. Hooks plus states that the length a spring stretches is proportional to the weight attached to the spring. A model for one scale is equal to 0.35 volt plus 3, where is the total length in inches of the spring and W in width in pounds of the object. Question. Find the inverse model for the scale. Another question. If you place a melon on the scale and the spring stretches T, a total length of 5.5 inches, how much does the melon weigh? So let's start to solve this simple example. So solution. So ang ating L or length is equal to 0.5 volt plus 3 sa ating given. So, write the original model. Next, length minus 3 is equal to 0.5 volt. So, dito class, yung ating positive 3, transpose po natin sa kabila dun sa may length. Kaya po naging negative 3 po yan. Next, subtract 3 from each side. So, ibig sabihin po class, you can divide each side by 0.5. So, kaya pa naging 1 ay L or length minus 3 over 0.5 is equal to volt. So, 1 length over 0.5 is equal to 2 length. Minus 3 over 0.5 is equal to negative 6. So, let's simplify to find the weight of the melon. Substitute 5.5 for length. 2 length minus 6 is equal to width. 2 length minus 6 is equal to pounds. So, pounds na lang, parang temera. Pounds equal to 2 times 5. Okay, another. What is exponential function? So, we have a simple definition in exponential function. It could be the part of the presentation are a lot like geometrical sequence. The main difference between them is that a geometric sequence is discrete while an exponential function is continuous. So we have a meaning for discrete. Discrete means that the function has values only a distinct point. For example, the first term, second term, and etc. So, continuous means that the function has values for all possible values of x. The integers are included, but also all the numbers in between. So, ibig sabihin naman po ng continuous, tuloy-tuloy po siya. So, for example na lang po nito, yung ilaw, kung ayaw niyo po siyang patayin hanggang mag-umaga at maggabi, bukas siya. So, ibig sabihin continuous. So, yung mga bagay na nakikita natin na alam natin, nag-continuous, so yan po yung continuous word natin in exponential function. An exponential function is a function of the form f of x is equal to b squared or base squared, where b is a fixed positive number. The constant b is called the base of the exponent. So we have simple properties of the exponential function. First, law of exponents. So for x and y, real numbers. So sa number 1, a raised to x, a raised to y is equal to a raised to x plus y. So for example class, ang base po natin ay 2. Then ang ating exponent ay yung 3 and 5. So now, 2 raised to 3, 2 raised to 5 is equal to 2 raised to 8. So, pinag-add lang naman po natin yung ating exponent na 3 plus 5. Kaya po naging 8. Next, number 2, open close parenthesis a raised to x. Sa labas po ay y. So, equal po niyan ay a raised to x and y. So, for example po class, ang base po natin ay 4. Then, ang exponent naman po natin para sa x ay yung 2. Then, yung ating exponent para sa y na nasa labas, yun po ay 5. Is equal to 4 raised to 10. Bakit po class? Product po kasi yan. So, i-multiply po natin yung 2 at yung 5. Kaya po, naging 4 raised to 10. Okay, another. AB raised to x is equal to ax or a raised to x, b raised to x. So, dito class, pinaghiwalay po natin yung pinaka-value ng ating a and b. So, for example class, ang value po ng ating a ay 4. Then, yung b po ay 3. Then, yung ating x na naka-raise or naka-exponent, yun po yung 5. So, dito class, pinaghiwalay lang po natin. Kaya 4 raised to 5, 3 raised to 5. Okay, next, number 4. A over B raised to x is equal to A raised to x over B raised to x. So, dito naman po, class, nagkaroon po o nabigyan po natin o nilagyan po natin ng exponent yung ating A and B. Yung ating base na A and B. So, for example po, class, ang value po ng ating A ay 3 over po sa 5, na yun po yung value ng base, ay yun po yung value ng ating B. Then, yung ating exponent po ay 3. So, pinag-iwalay lang naman po natin, binigyan lang po natin ng exponent yung ating numerator and the denominator. So, yun po yung 3 raised to 3 over 5 raised to 3. Okay, the last law of exponent, number 5, a raised to x over a raised to y is equal to a raised to x minus y. So, dito naman po, class, sa number 5, kapag ganyan po, at magkaiba yung ating numerator at denominator in exponent, yan po ay difference or minus. For example, class, ang ating given para sa A or sa base natin ay 5. Then yung value natin para sa x ay 7. Then din sa denominator, ang value ng y natin ay 3. So now, equal 5 raised to 7 minus 3. Bakit ma'am 5 na lang po? Kasi parehas naman po yung ating base na A or parehas naman po yung base natin sa numerator and denominator na 5. Kaya isa na lang po. So, 7 minus 3, so sabi ko nga po kanina, kapag ganyan ang nangyayari, yan po ay difference. So, 7 minus 3, ang sagot po ay 4. So, ang base po natin ay 5, ang exponent po natin ngayon ay 4. So, 5 raised to 4. Next, letter B, 0 and negative exponent. So, first, we define a raised to 0 by the equation. So, yung numerator natin ay a raised to n over a raised to n is equal to a raised to n is equal to n is equal to a raised to 0. So, kung mapapansin niyo po, yung exponent natin ay always sa 0. So, let's solve it. So, using formula, a raised to n over a raised to n is equal to 1, thus a raised to 0 is equal to 1. So, for example po, class, ang ating base sa a ay 3x. Then, yung ating exponent ay 0. So, syempre, wala naman po, kaya magiging equal lang po siya kay 1. Kasi po yung exponent po natin ay 0. Next, another, we define a raised to n o negative n is equal to 1 over a raised to n. So, for example po, class, ang value na ating base ay 2. Then, yung ating exponent para sa numerator ay positive 3. Then, sa denominator naman po ay negative 2. Then sa labas po ay meron negative 2. So kapag ganyan po yung given, simple lang po ang ating solution dyan. So yung base po natin, copy lang po natin. Then yung raise na ating exponent na 3 or positive 3, multiply lang po natin sa ating negative 2. Kaya po naging exponent natin ngayon ay negative 6 para sa numerator lang class. Then sa denominator naman po, copy lang natin yung base na 3. Then negative 2 times negative 2 magiging positive 4. So now, kailangan daw po natin maging 1 over a raised to n po yan. Kaya po ang nangyari, yung ating numerator and denominator ay naging nasa denominator na po kasi po ni-reciprocal po natin yan. Kaya po ngayon, yung ating numerator na 1 over 3 raised to 4, 2 raised to 6, yan po yung answer natin dito sa 0 and negative exponent. So letter C, fractional exponent. If m and n are positive integers, we define a raised to m over n is equal to n square root of a raised to m. When m is equal to 1, so may value tayo ng m plus ha. And a raised to 1 over n is equal to n square root of a. So, for example, class, ang ating base ay 3, then ang ating exponent ay 2 over 3. Positive po siya, class, ha? Equal po natin sa ating denominator na 3. Then, raised to, base natin ay 3. Then, yung ating m ay 2 is equal to 3 square root of 9. Bakit po? Yung ating base at yung ating exponent sa numerator ay multiply po natin, kaya po naging 9 po yan. So, ang answer po natin para sa fractional exponent ay 3 square root of 9. Okay, next. What is graph of exponential functions? So we have a simple definition of graph of exponential function. In graphing exponential function is similar to the graphing you have done before. However, by the nature of exponential function, their points tend either to be very close to one fixed value or else to be too large to conveniently graph. There will generally be only a few points that are reasonable to use for drawing your picture. Picking these sensible points will require that you have a good grasp of the general behavior of an exponential so you can fill in the gaps to speak. So, we have a simple formula in graph of exponential function. So, dito class, yung ating graph dapat maging curve po siya. The formula for an exponential function is similar to the formula for finding the terms in a geometric sequence. An exponential function takes the form y is equal to ab raised to x. ab, yan po yung base. Yung x, yan po yung exponent. So, for example, class, compare the graphs of y is equal to 2 raised to x and y is equal to 3 times 2 raised to x. So, let's make a table of values for both functions. So, ang ating unang given ay y is equal to x na nasa unang table. So, ito po yan. So, ang value na po na binigay ni ma'am para sa x ay negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, positive 1, positive 2, positive 3. So, pwede pong limang value lang ng x, basta makagawa po tayo ng curve. Huwag lang pong tatlo kasi wala po tayong magagawang curve dyan. Pwedeng 5, pwedeng 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Depende po sa inyo kung ano pong gusto nyo ibigay na value para sa x. So So we have a simple process to solve. So let's substitute in the given. So given lang naman po sa ating exponent. Kasi yun lang naman pong exponent yung ating may value ng x. Okay, so 2 raised to negative 3, ang sagot po ay 0.125. Kapag ni-round off nyo po, pwedeng maging 0.13. O kaya naman po kapag gumamit po kayo ng fraction, pwede pong maging 1/8 po yan. Next, another po. 2 raised negative 2 is equal to 0.25, or kapag fraction po natin yan, pwede pong maging 1/4. Next, 2 raised to negative 1 is equal to 0.05 or 1/2. Kapag fraction po natin siya. 2 raised to 0 is equal to 1. 2 raised to 1 is equal to 2. 2 raised to 2 is equal to 4. 2 raised to 3 is equal to 8. So now, kapag rinap po natin siya, class, kung mapapansin nyo po, ang ating graph ay naka-curve. So kahit yung point natin ay nandun lang sa sa pinaka-way lang natin, pwede po natin siyang hahabaan para po siya ay mag-curve. Basta lang po mag-curve po yung ating graph. Next, another po. Para naman po sa given ng y is equal to 3 times 2 raised to x. So, yung ating value ng x, parehas lang po ng ginamit natin sa first table. So, sa second table po, ang value ng x natin, uulitin lang po ni ma'am, ay negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. So, now, we have a simple process to solve this given. 3 times 2 raised to negative 3, ang sagot po ay 0.375. Kapag renound off po natin siya, magiging 0.38. Or kapag fraction naman po, pwede siya maging 3/8. Another, 3 times 2 raised to negative 2 is equal to 0.75 or 3/4 kapag po fraction. Another, 3 times 2 raised to negative 1 is equal to 1.5 or 3/2 kapag fraction. Next, 3 times 2 raised to 0 is equal to 3. 3 times 2 raised to positive 1 is equal to 6. 3 times 2 raised to 2 is equal to 12. And 3 times 2 raised to 3 is equal to 24. So, kapag in-apply po natin siya in a graph, class, so kung mapapansin nyo po, naka-curve pa rin po yung ating exponential function. So, lagi pong naka-graph, hindi po naka-curve, hindi po naka-straight line. Always curve po yung ating graph. Para hindi po tayo mahirapan, mas lalo na po, pwede rin naman po natin gamitin yung mga value ko sa x para hindi na po kayo mag-isip. But be sure, kapag ginamit yung value ko para sa x, ay magtutugma po dun sa graph nyo. Huwag po tayo graph ng graph. Mas lalo na po kapag alam po nating mali ito. Okay. Example, graph y is equal to e raised to x. Okay, to graph this, you will input values much like you did to graph y is equal to 2 raised to x. The difference here is that you will have to use a scientific calculator to find the function value. So, ibig sabihin, class, dito sa graph natin, ang value daw po ng ating letter E ay yung 2, which is yung base natin. Then, yung exponent, yan po yung bibigyan natin ng value para makagawa tayo ng table at makagawa tayo ng graph. Okay, you will need to use your e raised to x function, which normally requires use of the second function t. So now, let's substitute the value of x and let's solve. As you can see, the graph of y is equal to e raised to x is very similar to y is equal to 2 raised to x. The only difference is that the graph levels of 2y is equal to 0 a bit quicker and it gets vertical or vertically steeper quicker. So now, let's apply. E raised to negative 3 is 1 over 20. E raised to negative 2 is 1 over 10. E raised to negative 1 is 2 over 5. E raised to 0 is 1. E raised to positive 1 is 2 or 27 over 10. E raised to positive 2 is equal to 37 over 5. E raised to positive 3, the answer is 20. So, mapapansin niyo po sa graph class, naka-curve pa rin po siya. Hindi mawawala yung word of graph, katulad po yung sa example ko sa una. So, ganyan lang po ang paggawa ng ating simple graph. Next, transcendental number, letter E. We have a simple definition in transcendental number E. The most commonly encountered exponential function base is the transcendental number E, which is equal to approximately 2.71828. Thus, the above expression becomes f of x is equal to e raised to x. When the exponent in this function increases by 1, the value of the function increases by a factor of e. When the exponent decreases by 1, the value of function decreases by this same factor is divided by e. So, dito class, kung mapapansin niyo po, meron tayong value para sa letter E. Ma'am, saan po ba ninyo nakuha yung value na 2.71828? So, nakuha po yan ni ma'am sa scientific calculator. So, if ever na may calculator po kayo, apply nyo po iyan class. So, class, kapag gumamit po tayo ng Casio calculator, pindutin lang po natin yung alpha and yung EXP na nasa tabi po ng answer or ANS. So, kung makikita nyo po, kapag ginawa nyo po yan class, makikita nyo po yung sagot na 2.71828. Then, kung gusto nyo naman po ng mahabang sagot, ito po yan class, 2.71828, 182846. So, ganyan po kahaba yung value na approximately E natin. Or number E, o tinatawag natin transcendental number E. Okay class, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy our lesson for today. Keep safe, God bless, and bye!